Welcome to Jim's Place. I'm Angie McCombs. I am the Outreach Coordinator in the Occupational Therapy Department. We were hoping to have you guys here on site this Friday, but with the changes, I'm going to be walking you around Jim's Place. And I'm also going to share a link. Jim's Place, in collaboration with the VA, was able to be a virtual Jim's Place online website that offers the ability for you to look at the equipment that you'll see here, and that link will be shared with you. So to get going, I'm going to show you a few devices, and Jim's Place offers high and low tech assistive technology as well as showcases environmental modifications. Each of the assistive technology devices or environmental modifications are designed for specific diagnoses or impairments that maybe an individual is dealing with post-stroke, post-spinal cord injury, TBI, vision impairment. We look at all of those factors as an OT and then understand what we need to do to get them back to function. So one of the first devices is, this is an ABIC machine, and you can see the computer screen here has taken, it will start to read my document if I place it here.
Clients with the tools to optimize their home environments relative to individual.
Okay, so you saw that it took a picture, and this can take a picture of your iPad, your iPhone, so an email or a text, a cookbook, and then it will read it back to the individual. You also can see that it enlarges the text and gives it a contrast. So if someone is able to still read or just needs it magnified, that's very helpful, but it's also that auditory feedback that you're going to get. Here's the variations of low tech, and this is all for meal prep or just in the kitchen. This device is a pour thing. You can see I can put my orange juice, maybe my water, my milk, and if I have limited grasp, I don't have the strength to hold that gallon, this allows me to keep this in the fridge or depending on what item is in there on the counter, and I can just push that down and easily pour myself a cup of whatever I would choose to drink. Here is the variations of one-hand cutting boards. You can see the edges here, and then these are to stabilize the item you'd like to cut, so potato, tomato, your veggie of choice, and then the edges can stabilize your bread, so you can add the condiments, the butter, the mayo. You can put bread here to slice it. So there's variations in each of these, and these are all, we're designed more for that one-handed, so definitely individuals post-stroke. And you can look more at those on our online link. And I'll show you have variation, you have multiple areas where we have a opening. This is for reach range. It allows an individual that now has to be in a wheelchair or in a seated positioning, they're able to pull up and then still get the ADA recommended reach range or just a functional reach range to do those tasks. Other features at Jim's Place. Here's the cabinet. We only have one cabinet that we chose to do this with, but this is raising and lowering, and it's just done by a button that you're seeing under here in the cabinet. It's hidden. The cabinet still looks functional, so it's aesthetically pleasing, but now this allows me, again, if I'm in a seated position that I need to be in my seated walker or my wheelchair, I can now reach for the items I need to eat or prep my meals. When I share the link with you, you're going to get to see some videos.
Here we have an induction stovetop, which uses a magnetic field to heat only the pot or pan on the stovetop. Unlike traditional stovetops that are hot to the touch, induction tops are not hot to the touch, as they transfer the heat directly to the cookware being used. This vastly decreases the risk for burns and accidents, and increases safety for individuals with poor sensation or awareness. Be aware that the induction system will only work with pans made from ferrous metals that can be magnetized. You can easily test this by sticking a common kitchen magnet to your pot or pan. If it sticks, you can use this pan on the stove. Do not place wet pans on the stove. Although an induction stove increases safety with a smaller area being heated, there are still other safety concerns. Because the technology uses magnetic fields, this is not an appropriate device for individuals with pacemakers, cochlear implants, or other metal devices within the body.
See, my water is boiling, and the induction induction is taking it straight from that pan. Here, typically, on your stove, this would be hot, but you can see I have my finger there, and it's not burning it. So that is the nice part about an induction stove, especially if someone has that decreased sensation, which potentially post-stroke they may have. Neuropathies, features in their kitchen again to accommodate for those that may now have to use that wheelchair or just cannot stand for long periods of time because of a hemiplegic side, their affected side. We have our sink that raises and lowers, again allowing them access to do dishes. For the oven, so this oven we particularly selected because it does have the French door option. It opens out and then can allow someone to pull up. Very low tech again. They can pull wood there and then push in. And again, transfer anything that is needed from that position. All of our handles, you can see, are long handles. We don't have knobs in the kitchen, and that's an ergonomic design to allow those that don't have the dexterity or the grasping pattern. They can just use a gross grasp to pull from. So this is a liftware design, and you'll see this on here. The nice part about this is if individuals have tremors or some spasticity, this will accommodate for that, any of those tremors, or if they are spastic. You can see the spoon levels out, so I can move it, but then it comes there. Very helpful for if an individual wants to self-feed and remain with and be autonomous in that activity. Here, this is a can do-it-yourself countertop for those that maybe now have visual difficulties. If you were here, I'd have someone put these goggles on and it would kind of simulate what that would look like with a low vision or vision difficulties. And when you do that, it would be very hard to see some of the items on this countertop. And what this is there's just LED lights under the countertop and then a Corian countertop. And so when I turn it on, it allows those with that vision difficulty to be able to really differentiate between all of the items there. Another device, this is an easy reader. So I'm able to record, you'll see buttons here, and you're able to record certain labels. So if I am taking a medication and I have my vitamins, I can use this to then read it back to me. So I have to feel the bumps there, and if you could, you'd feel those. And then you would put that on there and it would read it back. So you would know if it said vitamins or your medication. If you have certain cooking spices, you can label your spices with that too. And then the individual with that visual deficit or difficulty can use that device. Okay, I'm gonna take you now into the office or dining room area. We do have an accessible patio outside. You can see that from our Jim's Place website. And if we were here, I'd let you see some of our accessible gardening features. But maybe another tour. Here we have a Tobii Dynavox. This again, there'll be links on the Jim's Place. This is an eye gaze software, so individuals with ALS or that are unable to communicate, they can use their eyes to navigate a keyboard to talk and request that they're hungry, they need to go to the bathroom, or just to say I love you, which is quite empowering for those individuals that have lost the ability to speak. Okay. So we come into the living room area of Jim's Place. Here there is an Alexa. Alexas and other Google smart home features have been widely beneficial for individuals to create routines or to turn on lights, turn off lights, have that ability to set a reminder to take medication or a reminder that someone's coming over. We go through those with individuals and talk there. You can see we have an elevator lift in here. Again, a mobility feature that allows someone to gain access from our first floor down to our second. You can use that either I'm maneuvering it here with this button, but I also could have moved that if I would be in the elevator. And I'll put it down so you can see once it's down on the first floor, we again wanted the house to look aesthetically pleasing, like us all, not a medical home, so you'll see that the wood floor is flush, and you wouldn't know that was here if you would come in there. definitely bathing, toileting, grooming. Those are activities that an occupational therapist would work at post-stroke, post-neurological damage. We look at what the client has, what strengths do they have, what client factors can we utilize, and we want to ensure safety at all time. And when they're going home, we'll look at what type of shower do you have. Here, ideally, you would like to have a roll-in shower. We even have a slight threshold here, so sometimes you can even eliminate that threshold completely. If you can't, there are other options, and there's variations in many shower benches. So some have a high back with lateral support, some have no back. We really work together as a team with the family to understand the environmental component that individual is going back to, the client factors that we're dealing with, and then also match the right equipment. That's a big key, that the equipment matches what the client needs, because otherwise we have a safety precaution, we don't want them falling, and we want them to be independent. And so we have those. Here at Jim's Place too, we have a reutilization closet. Individuals are able to bring gently used items that they no longer need, and we clean them up, and then we're able to give them back out into the community. So we can match them and make sure that they're getting the accurate fit. Raised toilets you'll see in some. This is a bidet, an extension on our toilet. Very useful for those that don't have the range to cleanse or to do that task, and so that can offer a feature to help with the independence in toileting. This item is really helpful, again, post-stroke. If I do have an affected side, I can put my blow dryer in here, and then that way that holds my blow dryer for me, and then I can still do my hair. Very important for some people to do that. And again, if you were here, we would have variations. We have several low-tech items throughout the bathroom that we go through, and I'll save that for a day that you get to come. But again, we do have very many options still on our link. Okay. So, and lastly, we're in the bedroom. You can see it's usually, right now, we are adding a pediatric room. So some of the pediatric furniture is in here because we'll be painting that room and setting that room up for pediatric diagnoses, focusing on sensory and also pediatric positioning. But now this is the adult bedroom that we focused on, and what we installed that our community members are able to come and trial is the ceiling track lift. There are great videos on our Jim's Place website for you to look at. If you are here, you would be able to trial that. You could see the type of slings that we offer, and you'll get to see both of those options. Here, this is very similar. What would be a Hoyer lift swing, what would be used for that? And again, we would look at, does the client need head support? Are they using it for toileting? Are they using it for shower? Because there's variations in slings, and we want to match it with what the client needs. This sling, you'll also see this, the client definitely needs some trunk support to use this device, but here's another option. These are all great beneficial for when that client is requiring more assistance through bed mobility and getting out of bed, and the caregiver is having a difficult time. We also look at the caregiver and want to protect their body mechanics. So installing a ceiling track or having that option in your home is quite beneficial if you know that you're going to have to do many transfers throughout the day. Our ceiling track here at Jim's Place is able to take someone from the bedroom to the bathroom to the dining room. That again is person-centered, that we look at if maybe they only need to go from the bed to a commode or the bed to the shower. We look really at their home and understand what they need for their daily routine to remain independent. That's a really quick tour that I could have gone into more detail at times. I hope that you have enjoyed just seeing Jim's Place maybe more in action than the virtual webpage. I'm happy to set up another time for any tours. Please contact me, again, Angie McCombs, Outreach Coordinator in the OT department. But I look forward, and hopefully this video has given you some insight to some of the features that we get to highlight for students at St. Ambrose, but then also our other mission is to educate community members and clinicians to ensure that we're giving independence as much as possible. Thank you.